Yo, what is going on, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to be covering a design document by Mod Jack that reinvents the Artisan's Workshop to become the Smith's Guild when the mining and smithing rework comes out. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go. Alright guys, so like I said, this design doc is by Mod Jack, and it is his design that reinvents the Artisan's Workshop and its activities to become a proper smithing guild. Now bear in mind, anything in this design is subject to testing and feedback, so it can change based on what players feel like. I'll have a link to the design doc down in the description below if you really want to read it all out for yourself, so you can go ahead over there to do that. Without any further ado, let's just jump right into the content. So the new smithing guild is going to become your, default location for players that will smith together. It's kind of be a social hub with small conveniences, the ability to still earn respect like before, and also being the only place where you can get the redesigned burial equipment. They're going to be making it a place where both high and low level smiths can skill together socially, like I said. Now, before I get into the actual content of what's going to be going on, I want to talk about the layout, because that is actually going to get a pretty big overhaul. So we're going to actually show you on screen what the layout is going to be basically turned into once this comes out. So currently the Artisan's Workshop's divided into two floors. We have the surface floor where you do all your burial stuff and your ceremonial swords, etc. And then they have the underground cave area where you do things like those railings with steel and iron, etc. So with this rework, they actually want to take that underground section and the skilling activities within it, simply cut it out completely. Those activities are the most unpopular among the various ones you can do in the Artisan's Workshop, so they serve no real purpose in the progression of the redesign, and obviously with the rework there's going to be much more viable ways to train your smithing, so that would make the underground area even less desirable than it currently is. So again, the underground area is being completely cut out. So we're going to be moving on into the changes that are made to the surface section of it. Keep in mind that this is my interpretation of what the layout will look like based on the information given by Mod Jack in the design document. So first and foremost, the entire thing will be divided into two sections. We have the western parts and the eastern parts. First off, let's talk about what we can see in the western half of the area. So the western part will become your general purpose smithing area. The furnaces that you see to the north and south currently in the Artisan's Workshop will be replaced with forges. Those are the things that reheat your items when you're smithing, if you remember the new heat mechanic introduced with the mining and smithing rework. So those will be converted into forges that'll allow you to reheat your items. Obviously the anvils will still be right next to them, so you can continue training your smithing and creating items. The ingot area in the middle where that conveyor belt is going to be converted into a furnace, like a standard furnace where you add ores to create bars. Pretty straightforward. So you got your forges on the outside, furnaces in the middle. And they also say that a bank can be added. I don't know if the bank is 100% set in stone, but they said they may add a bank to that area somewhere in the western half of the Artisan's Workshop. Moving on, near the middle of the room, there's going to be a spot in the middle allocated to something known as a luminite injector, which we will talk about later in the video, so just hold on for a bit there. Next, I want to talk about the eastern part of the building. So first and foremost, the east part is actually going to be walled off from the western side with a door to enter within the area, and that is going to require level 40 smithing to pass through. This eastern half then becomes what you would call a smithing guild. In this area, players can make burial equipment which has been reimagined with brand new mechanics. So there you have it, guys. That is the entire layout of the new reworked Artisan's Workshop to be repurposed as the smithing guild. Again, bear in mind, this is just my interpretation of what the layout will look like based on the information I was given in that design document. So let me know what you guys think about it. So now let's move on to the various activities you'll be able to do in the new smithing guild. First off, let's talk about the burial equipment I just mentioned. They're going to be retheming decorated items to make them more intuitive. So the old burial armor mechanic that we have currently is going to be completely removed, since that sort of AFK smithing will be possible with the skills base mechanics. Burial equipment is going to require its own specific set of anvils, accompanied by forges obviously. These should be placed at the end of the room with the dwarves standing behind, ready to take the items away from you as soon as they're finished, to reinforce to the player that those items are being destroyed. So mechanically, the burial equipment is basically just a decoration rethemed, and the item, as I said, will be destroyed immediately rather than having it hand in manually. This will help remove any ambiguity with how the process works and hopefully eliminate all confusion overall, especially considering that it can only be performed at these special specific anvils. So players will be able to take any smithed item from adamant and up, which has also been upgraded to the maximum level it can achieve. For example, adamant +1 or +2, whatever the case may be. It needs to be the highest plus level possible. They can then choose to smith that into a burial item, which will destroy the item in return for a very generous XP per hour. They'll still use the standard smithing mechanics, so the items must be heated as you'd expect. And at the end, like I've been saying, the item gets destroyed. This is going to be balanced in the exact same way that decoration is currently. So decorating your armor, as we've seen in the mining and smithing rework, will be removed completely as burial armor effectively replaces that process. An additional option that players have available to them is to make an entire suit of burial armor in one go. So if the player brings the matching complete set of burial armor, they can choose a special recipe to destroy them all at once. This takes the same total of time as it would to smith each piece individually, but gives an additional 5% XP in total. So this is going to increase the XP per bar as well as the XP per hour. So that might be a desirable option for many people. Next up, I want to talk about the Luminite Injector that I previously mentioned. So Luminite Injectors are going to be a new item which can be purchased with respect. The Artisan's Workshop respect, just to be clear. So in the center of the west part of the room is a device with a hole in it. Using a Luminite Injector on the device will cause the entire workshop to get a buff for 5 minutes. During the duration of this 5 minutes, the color of the forges is going to change from an orange color to blue, and all players smithing anywhere in the building generate 1 additional progress, which is modified by the heat, every time they make a smithing strike. This applies to all smithing in the building, including burial equipment, which equates to approximately 10% increase in smithing XP speed. And keep in mind that while this buff is active, a new Luminite Injector cannot be applied. Moving on to other activities, burst pipes. So the burst pipes activity that currently is in the Artisan's Workshop will still occur as it does. They continue to give the same XP and respect as they currently do. Ceremonial sword making. Now this activity is going to be cut from the game. It doesn't really make much sense in the rebalancing of the smithing skill, which already allows for very expensive high intensity training. So any of you who loathe making ceremonial swords, fear not, that is finally getting cut from the game. Obviously, XP rates of competitive levels to those ceremonial swords will be replaced with newer methods. Moving on to some other events, the animated armor and the bronze ceremonial swords events that currently are in the Artisan's Workshop will be simply removed from the game. And that pretty much wraps up all the different activities you can do. We're going to move over to the reward shop for a brief second. So the reward shop's going to remain, but it's in the eastern part of the building and also has that 40 smithing requirement to access. Respect is going to be earned by earning smithing XP anywhere in the building at the same rate as it is currently. That's 1% respect for every 10k XP. This means that players earn respect through normal smithing as long as they do it inside the Artisan's Workshop. Some of the rewards are going to need updating, and any old rewards will be converted across to new rewards. So if you've unlocked the old version, you'll automatically unlock the new version. We're going to run down the various different rewards. Quick repairs is going to work as it does now. Repair expert again is going to work as it does now. Quick learner, budding student, and master student will be replaced with solemn smith 1 through 5. Making complete suits of burial armor gives an additional 1% XP per bar. Each upgrade stacks and requires the previous. Costs 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100% respect respectively. Ceremonial swords plans 1 through 5. This will unlock the associated tier of ceremonial swords as cosmetic overrides. These items can no longer be made. Golden cannon, royal cannon, and restocking cannon. Nothing's getting changed about those, they will stay as is. Ceremonial sword orders. They will be replaced with respect is something you earn. Respect is earned 10% faster. Sword polishing kits. It will have a new effect. Making a burial sword with a sword polishing kit consumes the kit to cause the burial sword to give 5% additional XP. Sword polishing kits now cost 10% respect each. Bonus pack that will be replaced with the Luminite Injector. Obviously, we talked about exactly what it does. It will cost 100% respect each Luminite Injector. So yeah guys, that wraps up everything you need to know, at least for this design document on the Artisan's Workshop, which will soon be repurposed with the Mining and Smithing Rework as the Smithing Guild. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Again, the design document is down in the description below, so go check it out. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I am out. Peace.